All right, FightHype.com here with the man of the hour, Eddie Hearn. Eddie, first of all, we're here for...
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, Worlds Collide, Wintrust Arena. Is this the first boxing event they're having here?
In the Wintrust Arena, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's great. I mean, part of the sort of ethos that we've got behind Dazn series is to take it to not necessarily new cities, but fight cities that have been starved a little bit of championship action. So we go here on October 6th, we go Boston, October 20 with Andrade v Saunders. Just nice to sort of turn up to places, and I probably had a dozen people come up to me and say, just want to say thanks for bringing boxing to Chicago. Like, you don't get that when you go to New York or to LA, because it's just expected, isn't it? So we've got a lot of work to do. You know, it's as you've seen in the US, it's not easy to sell tickets. I feel like we've got a really stacked card, good night of entertainment where you're going to get your money's worth. Tickets are nice and cheap. And now the real work starts, because a lot of promoters will do this press conference and say, see you fight week. And then turn up fight week and go, how did we do with the tickets? It's like, not very good. Oh, I can't believe it. Well, funny that, because you needed to work. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to be creative here. We've got to go into the Chicago boxing community. We've got to go into the Polish community, the Puerto Rican community, the Belize community, apparently, according to Jared.
All right, that's news to me.
Yeah, exactly. So Chicago seems to be like the second biggest population of about 12
everything.
Countries. Yeah, he said, outside of Belize, Chicago is the biggest city of Belize population. Is it?
That's crazy.
So, I'm looking forward to it, and they've dressed it up well. It's a really nice arena, so looking forward to it.
Is just that philosophy of coming to local arenas, Chicago, Boston, is that something that you've carried over from the UK?
Yeah,
I mean, is that kind of how you do it over there?
I mean, look, we know that major events will always work in London, possibly Manchester, but a lot of these cities that we've been to, it's not like these cities have just popped up, by the way. They've always been there, and they have a rich tradition of boxing. I mean, Adamek was like, he debuted here. He had some big cruiserweight world championship fights here. I mean, I can't remember the fight. Marquez, I think, fought here, or there's some big fights in Chicago. Boston, the same. I mean, it's a rich boxing history. But we've seen in the UK that you can go to places like Belfast, Leeds, Hull, Newcastle, and those places that I just mentioned there sometimes deliver the best atmospheres because they're excited. You're not a New Yorker that has a choice of 3 different shows a month. No, if I'm from Chicago and I like boxing, I'm coming here on October 6th, unquestionably. It's not even up for debate. Because when was the last time a major show came?
Right.
And when is the next time another one might come? So we've got our work cut out, because it's not, with a show like this, we'd be sold out now in the UK, like 2 hours after the press conference. So, and sometimes you don't have to put that work in.
Right.
But this is definitely going to be something we're going to have to work at, as is Boston, as will be every show.
When you were coming up with the idea, the partnership with Dazn and everything, when you looked at the landscape in America, is that something that you saw was kind of missing?
It was. Also, I'm a big believer in providing value for money, and like, if you look at this card, we've already got 4 substantial fights, and we're going to be starting at 5 p.m. But from a Dazn perspective, the value for money comes not just with all the content they've got, but the way in which they're covering the fight nights. So, like, for example, you've got on Dazn's platform various tens of tiles, what's called, right? So you could be watching October 6th, and you could be watching the World Boxing Super Series on another screen.
Wow.
Tile.
Wow.
And you might be watching a fight coming in from Germany. But it's like the ultimate sort of porn material for fight fans. So you see every fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, even from the first 4-rounder on the night. Yeah. It's not going to be, you'll join us at 9.
Right.
It's like, well, what about the 2 World Championship fights you got? No, we're just going with Miller and Vargas. That's what... And Sky are really good to us in that respect, because they go on air at 7 and they'll start Facebook at 5:30 or something like that. But this is like start to finish. It's going to be like comprehensive boxing coverage, and that excites me as a fight fan. And I think if you are a fight fan, you cannot not have Dazn. It's $9.99 a month with a free first month. And when you look at just breaking up the months, that first month, 22nd of September, Joshua Povetkin, World Heavyweight Championship, plus a great card. 28th World Boxing Super Series, 29th Bellator, October the 6th here in Chicago, also World Boxing Super Series before that, October the 13th Bellator, a show from us in the UK, plus World Boxing Super Series.
Wow.
October the 20th, Saunders versus Andrade. That's the first month. And that's free, by the way.
Wow.
So it's like, but even if that was $9.99, it's about 80 cents a fight night. So as we grow the talent on DAZN, as we continue to fight nights, I think you're going to get to a position where fight fans say, I have to have DAZN. It's not a lot of money, you know? And that's what we want to do. We want to give value for money to DAZN customers. We want to give value for money for people in the arena. And that's important to us. There's one thing we must have, is that when people leave this arena on October the 6th, they go, when are you coming back to Chicago? Because that's what they say to us when we do a good show in Newcastle, or when you back, when you back. And that's the kind of feeling that we want to give. We want to create a crazy atmosphere on October 6th. That's what we do in the UK.
Well, I know in the past, those were kind of some of the things that you mentioned, how, you know, when people go to fights, I mean, obviously in the UK, it's like a party.
It is.
Over there.
Why, you know, I saw, like, get loads of comments from me, what does Eddie Hearn know about the US market? Like, we're just people. Like, you're not aliens and we're humans, or vice versa.
Right.
We all like the same thing.
Right.
We like a night out. We like great sport. We like to have a good time. So how do you make people have a good time? That's up for us to create the in-event experience, you know, the music, the fights, the atmosphere, the build-up. You've got to learn now about Danny Roman. You've got to learn about Artur Beterbiev being a brutal knockout artist. So that when you're sitting down here, like, I feel like too many times in American boxing, people turn up and go, right, so what is this then? Worlds collide? Right, who's who then? Who's that up there? Do you know what I mean? Whereas you should be sitting down and going, oh, look, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. But also knowing enough to say, oh, that's Beterbiev. Oh, that's a guy from Chechnya. That guy's a killer, man. You know, oh, Jesse Vargas, yeah, two-weight world champion. He fought Pacquiao, you know, etc. Gerald Miller, oh, that's that big dude with a big mouth, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, Adamek, isn't he like 40? Oh, and all these Polish game, like, there's got to be a narrative, there's got to be a story behind every fight, major fight. So there's a lot of work to do, You know, I saw some stuff on social media today. Oh, you know, Vargas Delorme, that's not really a major fight. It's like, no, but look at the card as a whole. It's our first show. We've got work to do. We know what we're doing. And October 20th, Saunders against Andrade, another big card coming there. We hope to win the Hooker Saucedo purse bid next week as well. It's another good world championship fight. It's ongoing. And no, but the most important thing is to deliver value for money for DAZN customers and for the people in the arena.
You know, it's actually funny that you said there needs to be a narrative. That's the whole reason why I started FightHype was to focus on the hype behind the fights. I mean, that's why you get excited about fights, because there's stories, and I feel like that's definitely been lacking in the US.
Every fight has a story. Some are not as exciting as others, but every fight has a story. Every fighter has a story. But how many get told? I mean, I always revert back to Danny Jacobs. Now, that guy should be one of the biggest sports stars in the US, but he was never built. You know, his story was never told. Yes, we tell it now, and, you know, as he comes to probably the final phase of his career in terms of challenging for a world title, etc., etc. But, you know, and then people always come up with excuses. It's like Artur Beterbiev. Oh, yeah, but he doesn't speak English. Like, you saw him up on the stage. He's actually quite a funny guy. Do you know what I mean?
Spoke English fine to me,
but
actually.
also, he's also a fucking monster. A monster. So that's easy to sell. That's not hard to sell. That's easy to sell. Gerald Miller, easy. Like, come on, it's like a dream for a promoter, you know. Danny Roman, you know, quiet as a mouse. But when he gets in the ring, he's a fucking animal. So, but you need to... I think one thing that's changed a lot in England is everyone's talking about boxing, everyone's debating boxing, everyone's got their opinions. You know, people will stop me in the street. Oh, do you think Bellew can really beat Usyk? I fucking love Dillian White. When's he fighting AJ? Is that Wilder ever going to sign the contract? But it's a talking point, you know? And that's how you make boxing big again, by getting people debating, talking, but making people form opinions.
You know, having said that and talking about the narratives behind the story, does that mean on DAZN there's going to be 100%. Other types of shows?
100%. There has to be. Build-up shows, promos for fighters. It's not hard to do a sit-down show with a fighter where you can actually learn about them. You know, I find it fascinating, especially in America, because people have got such diverse upbringings and cultures that, like, you might find Jesse Vargas, you know, he grew up in Mexico, you know, his father came to the US to get a job, he's lived in Vegas, he's lived here. Jarrell Miller, was he born in Belize or what? Like, you know, everyone's got a story. Beterbiev, imagine where Beterbiev's come from, in Chechnya. Fucking hell, I bet he grew up on a mountain somewhere, you know, like,
Yeah.
But that's, so take a film crew to Chechnya in the fucking snow and get him running up mountains with an axe on his back, fucking chopping up wood, and like Rocky
Like
style.
Rocky.
Yeah, but that should be his personality. That's him. He's a cold-hearted knockout artist from Chechnya. That is what he is.
Yeah.
Now, Jarrell Miller is a big mouth, big heavyweight who likes to eat cheeseburgers. Yeah. So everyone's got their story. You just have to sell it, and you have to tell it.
Yeah, yeah. So $9.99 is going to get you more than just fights. It's going to get you.
Yeah, it's good. Well, I mean, not, but look, you've got all the Bellator, you've got all of our US shows, all of our UK shows, you've got the World Boxing Super Series, and you've probably got a load of other boxing content coming as well. It's peanuts, but you're going to get the build-ups. You're going to get archive stuff. You're going to get build-up shows. You're going to get talk shows. But I've said to Dazn, why don't we go on air at 3 o'clock, right, from up there or wherever, put a little studio up there, we just all get talking. Rolling guests, you'll be around, other media will be around. Let's go up there, just chat shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, people love that. Look at podcasts. I mean, what are podcasts? Podcasts are people chatting shit, aren't they? Like,
Basically.
but people love to listen to it. But that's how you get the opinions formed. People listening to opinions, listening to the stories and forming their own. And then engaging in that online.
Yeah.
That's how you grow it. So we need to get people talking again.